we're supposed to have some sunshine today, but boy, we made it through the storms last night. And of course, what does that do to impact the road construction we've got going on across the area? And of course, we get to all that details from Positive Pete.
Gotta be, Jay.
Yeah.
Life's too short to be grumpy.
Well, yeah. I was going to use potholes, but I thought, well, we'll save that for another day, I guess. And
We're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good on those this year.
That's
in this
good.
area anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, I tell you what, today's gonna be a little different than it was yesterday.
Yeah. Just the way the air felt yesterday, especially in the afternoon, it had that humid, thick, like watch your back feeling.
Yeah, I was like
today felt more like fall when I walked out of the house.
Yeah, but I love the this time of the year, hearing the birds chirping and oh, it's gonna be a great day. It's not too hot outside.
That was perfect last night. I've got a bird feeder just outside our window, and we had last night, as it was getting kind of dark as the storm was moving in, bright red cardinal in the bird feeder, and it just stood out because of how bright red it was and how dark it was getting. It was really cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, there was the storm didn't hit like my part of town until what, I don't know, 9:30. It started to really. Well, before that, we went and got a 30-pack of beer.
Of course you did.
There we go. Well, maybe we should just see how many beers it's going to take before the storm gets here. I won't tell you how many it took, but
gonna say.
But
that was only how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop or whatever. Yeah,
exactly.
Everybody under 30 right now is shaking their head and they have no clue what we're talking about.
Exactly. What? Tootsie? Yeah. How many licks does it take? It takes more than 3.
Yep.
About 7, actually, Pete.
Gotcha.
But it came in and it was just kind of sprinkling. You could hear it. What a light show, though, man! It was going off like crazy, and then you started to hear some more of the rumbles, and then there's a couple, and then it just cut loose.
Yep.
And then we had a little bit of hail, about pea-sized hail in our neighborhood.
Yeah, I don't think we had any hail up at our place, but you're in the south side of town, I'm in the north side of town, so we know it can vary from block to block. And yeah, if we did, it was very, very little. But otherwise, yeah, you're right. It was the light show, it was the rumbling, and then it rained pretty hard for a little bit, and that was it. We got lucky.
We did really lucky, man. And the sump pump's still working good.
Yep, that's a necessity.
Man, I went and got my 2 generators that I have, and just in case. I have a battery backup, but a battery backup could be dead.
Sure.
I don't like to spend money on batteries just to sit there on the floor to just charge, which would probably only run about 20 minutes anyway because my sump pump runs like every 10 seconds.
Gotcha.
So 2 sump pumps in the hole, $700 worth.
Yeah, it's a necessary evil, I guess, until you need it. Then it's like, holy crap, I'm glad I have that.
You've been replacing the basement, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, exactly.
So, always better to be safe than sorry.
Yep, there's no doubt about that. So, well, we got through our first big one of the year. It's weird to have it this early in April. So,
right.
Don't know what that means for the rest of the year, but we'll find out.
Exactly. It's a wait and see forecast, Pete.
That's right. That's right.
With all that weather and everything else coming through, what kind of an impact does that have on the road construction that you guys have going on and started?
It all depends on the project. If you're doing dirt work, it definitely affects it because you need drier conditions to be able to do that. If you're doing pavement removal or something like that, it doesn't really affect it. So again, it depends on the project, and this early in the season, we're in the Midwest. You expect a few rain days here and there, so nothing to get too wound up about yet. That's for sure.
What about that section? We got to come back around about that question I asked last week about that intersection getting on the highway. Was it a highway B20 or whatever?
Yep. The bridge deck overlay project on B20. Yeah, there was. We had signals for people coming off the ramps, and traffic just didn't flow there as well as we had hoped. So as of either later today or tomorrow, the traffic signals on the ramps will be removed, and traffic will be controlled by signals on B20 on either side of the bridge. So that should make things flow a lot smoother through there. And like I said last week, that's what we do with these projects. You know, we try as hard as we can to make sure we have everything in place that we need. But once we get out there under real traffic situations, and every on ramp, every off ramp, every intersection, every town, every state rural road, you end up with, you know, some different little circumstance that might make it a little bit different than the previous project. So we always reevaluate as the project goes and make changes as needed.
Driving by the Clear Lake this past weekend too, the wife drives by and you go, how do you get on the interstate? Where do you have to go when you, because the on ramps, off ramps are kind of messed up there too a little bit.
The at 106.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No, that's the project we started several weeks ago, and yes, the on ramp for northbound traffic is closed, and the off ramp for southbound traffic is closed, so we can do the bridge deck overlays. And you are detoured. There are detour signs take you to Jonquil and up to 122, and then back over to interstate.
That's how you pronounce that.
Yep.
Oh, I never.
The best way to do it, Jay, is just say it really fast and convincing, and don't look back. Just keep going.
Okay, I see what you did.
No, it is Jonquil as far as I know. But yeah, that's the project we started as early as we can, because the goal is to have those ramps open by Memorial Day for the first big summer weekend of the year. So we're pushing to get that done, and right now we are on track for that. But again, things change, you run into problems, but right now we are still hoping to have those things open by Memorial Day.
Okay, well, that's good to know. That's good.
Yeah.
So, because otherwise you get relatives coming to town, you try and explain how to get to where they need to go, and they're totally lost.
Yeah, well, that's why we got 511, and that's why we have signs and we have arrows, and we next thing you know, we're gonna have to have people out there flaggers for you.
Yeah, just when you thought you'd get rid of them. Nope, Jay's still around.
Yep.
Come here.
Oh, wait, Jay's coming. Let's stop him. Okay, just slide over. We'll drive you through the detour. Okay, now you can take it again.
There's no. You guys don't use a lot of those flaggers anymore, though. Really, do you? I mean, not. It doesn't seem like it as much as it used to be.
Well, yeah, we do. It really, again, it depends on the project. When you're doing patching, where you're, you know, on a 2-lane road, where there's a certain stretch of road where they're working on and they have to have the 1 lane closed. Yeah, we'll have flaggers on either side taking care of that, flaggers and pilot cars. A lot with these bridge deck overlays, we are able to use temporary traffic lights just because it is a 24/7 hour situation. You know, when you're doing the patching, when you're doing the crack filling, they're just out there during working hours, and it's a moving operation. So that's when the flagger and pilot car comes in. It's project specific.
A lot of are all the projects you have this time of the year, are they all started and on time, and you're gonna have more throughout the year? It's summer, right?
Yeah, we will have more. I guess we've got a few that'll be starting in the next few months, but we've got the major ones going. There will be, as we've talked about before, a resurfacing project in Garner, and widening it to 3 lanes through there, and that's scheduled to start later this summer. But other than that, our major projects are up and running.
And we can't wait to do it all summer long.
That's what we do. It's not any different than the last 30 summers, or probably the next 30 summers.
How's that project moving along on Highway 65 down there with all that, construction and detouring through there?
Sure. Yeah, it's going well, actually. Even with the rain we've had, they're making good progress. They've done most of the underground work. They're still doing some storm sewer work. Hopefully, the second week of May, they will be paving the area from 6th to 10th. So we'll update you on that as we get into next week, because that's the end of next week. Well, at the end of that is May, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, they're making good progress. Now that I look at the calendar, it's even better than I expected. One change you might see, if you've noticed, there have been crews working down at 19th Street and 65. They've been off the road, but they are getting ready to start putting in some new street lights and new traffic signals. So probably next week you'll see some lane closures so they can get that work done. Iowa 122 between Pierce and Monroe. We started the head-to-head traffic pattern on that last week. They're in the eastbound lanes. Seems to be going well. Remember, if you are going eastbound and you want to get to the hospital, take a left at Pierce and then a right at Third, and you just go right into the parking lot. And if you are going westbound, Crescent Drive is closed. We are reconstructing that area right now, but Mercy Drive is still open. When Crescent Drive is done, we will close Mercy Drive and reopen Crescent, so you can use that to get to the hospital. And then later in the project, we'll have both of those open. So the big thing to remember is going through that area, there are no left turns allowed between Pierce and Monroe. We talked about the bridge deck overlay on I-35. We talked about B20 and that the signals will be going down today or tomorrow. I-35 starting at about the Thornton exit and going about 8 miles south. We still have the inside lane closures as they're working on the median crossovers. We'll be reconstructing the southbound lanes, those 8 miles. So when the median crossovers are done, we'll be moving traffic over into the northbound lanes into a head-to-head pattern. And one thing that you will probably see the end of this week from Clear Lake to Garner, we're going to be putting in centerline rumble strips, and that's where you will see a pilot car and flaggers. And that should take about 4 days, so it'll last into next week. And just be aware, and we'll try to keep you updated. The hard part is the contractor comes in and hits these things pretty quickly and moves around. We have a statewide project and we started this last year, maybe even the fall before, where we are putting in centerline rumble strips on every 2-lane road in the state, just because we've seen too many vehicles who will cross the center line and get in head-on crashes. So we decided to put together a project and put in centerline rumble strips on every 2-lane state highway across the state. And that is moving towards completion. They're going to be in our area for the next few months. So we'll try to keep you updated on where they are going to be. Now, if there are some of these roads where we do have a resurfacing project or something planned in the next year or two, we're not going to put in the rumble strips now and then just tear them out in a year or two. We'll wait until we come with the project. But that is something to be aware of as well that will be going on over the next couple of months.
Well, they work because they wake the wife up every time I hit one.
Well, there's a big difference if it wakes her up when she's driving or when she's the passenger.
Yeah, she's a passenger. Yeah.
Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better.
But some are going, well, Jay, why are you hitting the rumble strips?
Yeah, probably to wake her up on purpose.
Exactly. I want to finish the conversation that you fell asleep on.
I have friends who make it a habit of doing that. If their significant other or friend falls asleep, they will purposely hit the rumble strips and just wait for the reaction.
But I'm not the only one.
Nope.
Okay. All right. Good. That is good to know.
Yep.
Sometimes I think in my mind, I'm going, am I the only crazy one that does dumb things?
Oh, I think we all can fit into that category probably several times a day.
Anything else on the roadways, Pete?
No, I think that should cover it. Just again, be aware, especially this time of year, work zones are changing, and a lot of times in the early stages of the project, they're set up one way to get everything ready for the main meat of the project, and things get switched around a little bit. But yeah, they're going, and they're going to be going all year, so be ready.
All right. Big draft this past week. Did you see that? Did you see the whole thing with Sanders and what happened there?
Yeah, I did. I watched the majority of the first round. The rest of the rounds, I just kind of checked in here and there, and yeah, obviously followed the drop of Shedeur Sanders.
Oh, wow, that was awesome though. I mean, couldn't happen to a better guy.
I tell you what, that should be an example for any player at any level in any sport that talent isn't everything.
Right.
Some people have to learn the hard way.
Yeah, they thought he was going 1, 2, 3, 144th. By golly, not bad.
I saw. It was one of the. Well, I'm sure you saw that they retired his jersey in Colorado, his number.
I didn't see that. No.
Yeah, they retired his number, and There was a Facebook comment that the NFL has decided that they are going to retire the 144th pick now that Shedeur Sanders went 144th.
Oh, that's funny.
I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what I don't know, what the sad thing is the right way to describe it. He could still be very, very successful if he gets his head on straight,
Right.
or he could be a bust. I don't think there's going to be any middle ground with him. And I guess being a 5th round pick, are you a bust if you don't make it, or is that expected? Yeah, time will tell. It was very, like I said, it was very, very. I don't even know what the right word is. Nerve-wracking, suspenseful, little bit of humor to watch.
Yeah. Well, then they have the coach of the Falcons, the defensive coordinator.
Oh, yeah, son.
He called me. We're gonna pick you in the next round for the St. Louis or the Saints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a bit much, but
that was dirty pool right there.
That was dirty pool. That's a perfect way to describe that. Yep.
Yeah, but can't forget about Penning got drafted again this year.
He didn't get drafted. He got a free agent contract.
A free agent, yeah, for the Ravens.
All that means is he's got a chance, and that's all you ask for. So yeah, definitely congratulations to him, and hopefully he's on the roster come September.
Yeah, wouldn't that be awesome? The brothers play against each other would be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
It'd be cool to play on the same team, but just to be able to beat up on your brother.
Yeah, I'm sure they're probably used to that over there. Especially, was that usually junior high years that happens?
Yeah, I'm sure there've been a few broken coffee tables and end tables and lamps in the household.
Yeah. Yep. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of stories that can be told around the Thanksgiving or Christmas table.
Yeah. Remember that time? Yeah.
Yep.
Those boys got to have higher doorways to walk through, and then mom, she's like, what? Not even 5 foot?
I know she's short. I don't know exactly how tall she is, but yeah, no, that's. Yep. They definitely have the offensive lineman size.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. But it's great. Somebody from our area, not once, but twice now. Well,
Yeah.
multiple people throughout the years, but the last couple of years now.
Yep. Yeah, it is. It's really, really cool. It just adds interest.
Yeah, exactly. Even though I'm not a Ravens fan, not a Saints fan, so.
No. Saints are probably one of my least favorite teams.
Yeah.
Although now that Sean Payton's gone, I can handle them a little bit, and Denver has become one of my least favorite teams.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about that guy. I can't stand him either. Ever since the whole Brett Favre thing when they did a hit on him.
Yep.
I can't stand
No, that's exactly right. And he sat there and mocked the Vikings fans in that playoff game when he thought he was going to win, and then Stephon Diggs came out of nowhere, and yeah. No, that's you get upset with players who do that, and then when you've got your coach doing that, yeah, that's a bit much in my eyes. Maybe I'm too old school, but
right.
I'm not changing.
No, 2 more quick things I'll mention, Pete. I got an autographed Brett Favre thing from the U.S. Bank Stadium. Some friends from the draft up there at the U.S. Bank Stadium. They texted, said, "You want it?" And they said, "How much?" And I said, "Yes, get it. I don't care. Just make sure it comes to my house."
Nice.
So that's hanging up in my basement already. So I got that.
Perfect.
And I'm going to do a Facebook Live because we don't have time for this conversation. Aaron Rodgers, Minnesota Vikings. My thoughts coming on Facebook.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen.
No, like I said, short conversation. Follow my Facebook, and you'll see something coming up.
Hey, we traded for Sam Howell. He's our backup. Story complete.
Okay. More coming on the Jay Brooks Facebook page.
All right.
Okay, be watching for it. Pete, have yourself a wonderful week. All right.
All right. You do the same, Jay.
That's the good stuff.